And well, former three-time Chief Minister of Assam, Tarun Gogoi, breathed his last on Monday in the Guwahati Medical College and Hospital. The leader passed away due to COVID-19-induced complications. And ever since, so many who have been pouring out in large numbers to pay their tribute to one of the tallest leaders in the nation that we've seen. Anirudh continues to stay live with us from Guwahati, where preparations are now underway. And Anirudh, we see so many people pour in such large numbers, as it is a very emotional moment. This is a void in the political scenario in Assam that can never be filled. And even as you continue to get us what is happening there, I hand it over to you, Anirudh. Take us through it.
Yes, Suesa, Tarun Gogoi's absence has created a much bigger void than it was thought earlier, probably. And as we progress, as his mortal remains are being taken to his official residence in Guwahati, here you can see how people are standing on the roadside, waiting to have a last glimpse of their beloved leader, who had been Chief Minister of the state for 3 consecutive terms for 15 years, which made him the longest serving Chief Minister of Assam. He had commanded respect of people from all walks of life, and cutting across political affiliations. He was admired, he was loved by people, and his straightforward attitude, his ready to approach nature, that he always welcomed people with a smile on his face, is something that will be always missed. And the chief ministers, basically, as journalists, we always keep meeting the politicians, the ministers and chief ministers, the former chief ministers. The way Tarun Gogoi shared his relation with the media, with the journalists, is something which is very rare in today's time. He was always accessible, even if we call him at the last moment, when it's just 10 to 15 minutes away from a show or a debate. He never said no. He never said no, and he always agreed to share the difference of opinion, to give a space to the opposition, be it anyone cutting across political lines. And as I was saying, that in his last message, which he had released on 4th of November, he made a very, very emotional appeal to the people of the state, that the love and blessings that he got from the people of the state is the mantra that he had achieved as the chief minister. And this reflection, these people who have come here today, who are standing just to have a glimpse of the former chief minister, shows the love and respect that he got as a politician. And in today's age, something which is very rare, for being in politics, to be in politics for 52 years. From 1968, he was when he was first elected as a member of the Jorhat Municipal Board, and there he got elected twice to the Jorhat Municipal Board, and thereafter, in the first half of the 1970s, he was elected to the Lok Sabha as a member of Jorhat Lok Sabha constituency, which he represented thrice. And again, after a gap,
get our viewers more voices in this very somber moment. Wasbir Hussain, editor-in-chief of Northeast Live, is also with us on the phone line. Sir, in your journalistic career, you may have had several interactions with the former chief minister, covered his work, covered the contribution that he's made in the lives of the people with the administrative work that he's done. What are the fondest memories you have, and all that comes to your mind right now?
Well, you see, in my 36 years of journalism, I had been meeting Tarun Gogoi a number of times. And in 2010, I wrote his authorized biography titled Tarun Gogoi, The Inside Story of a Blunt Politician. And since it was an authorized biography, I discussed the title with him. I said, are you okay with the title, The Inside Story of a Blunt Politician? Then he told me, oh, well, it's a very nice title. I am, of course, blunt. And he was so candid about it. But he was not blunt to the extent of being rude. You see, he had his wit and humor, and that endeared him to people. In fact, in his death, the entire political class, across the political spectrum, the people have been, remembering him. People have had connections with him. He was extremely accessible to people, absolutely valuable in nature. Now, the point is, he was a colossal figure. He was a pan-Northeast figure. His appeal extended across the entire Northeastern region and, of course, outside. And he was one of the last flag bearers of the Congress, in the region. I'm talking about leader of his stature. I remember him telling me how, as a child, he was studying. His father was a tea garden doctor in Assam. On the day he was born, his father had cherished to own an elephant those days in 1934. And the day he was born, the elephant actually was delivered at his residence in that tea garden. And that was considered as a good omen, and his grandmother had once told him that, okay, this little boy is born, the elephant has come, one day, he's going to become a great man. So these are some anecdotes which Tarun Gogoi had shared with me. And of course, someone who was a great fan of Pandit Nehru. In fact, in 1956, while in college, there was a very famous mock parliament at one of the very famous colleges in Assam, that is the JB College in the eastern Assam town of Jorhat, where he role-played Nehru, the prime minister. So he had a liking for Nehru. He was an ardent fan of Nehru, and he first saw Nehru while he was still a school student. And Aruna Asaf Ali, that was the peak of the independence movement. Mahatma Gandhi has launched his Satyagraha. This was the background in which Tarun Gogoi was born. After that, he became an ardent fan of Nehru. And later on, of course, when he entered politics in the mid-60s, he was first elected to the municipality in 1971. Of course, he became an MP for the first time, representing the prestigious seat of Jorhat. And later on, he was handpicked by Mrs. Indira Gandhi, who made him an office bearer of the AICC. And later, he was made General Secretary attached to Rajiv Gandhi when he was new to the Congress Party. So he had seen it all. And later on, Rajiv Gandhi inducted him into his cabinet. He was food processing minister. And, I remember as this procession is being led to his official residence in the heart of the city, that is the Dispur, which is the minister's colony, where his entire family is congregated. Son Gaurav is, of course, accompanying the cortege. And he has 3 grandsons. His daughter, US-based daughter Chandrima, is there at his residence. We're waiting to receive the body. Dolly Gogoi, Mr. Tarun Gogoi's wife, is there. 3 grandchildren, a host of relatives. Now, basically, this is a very poignant moment, not just for Assam, but for the entire Northeast. And I remember a lot of things which Tarun Gogoi, during his entire career as chief minister for the last 15 years in a row, from 2001 to 2016. He looked quite formidable until, of course, the BJP and its allies managed to oust the Congress party. That was in 2016. And today, in the last couple of years, since 2016, he did not hold any position in the Congress party in Assam except representing the Titapur seat in the state assembly. But he was media savvy. He was the darling of the media, and he was actually the most sought after Congress leader as far as Assam was concerned. And yesterday, I was conducting a show. I was talking to several northeastern political leaders. They said that he was not just a voice for Assam. He used to raise voice for the entire northeastern region, and he was an inspiration for the young politicians in the entire northeast. So he was a colossal figure indeed.
I want to thank you for speaking to us and enlightening us with all these incidents, stories and anecdotes. But, you know, so many who may not have had the chance to know him like you have, but these pictures just indicate of how many lives he may have touched directly or indirectly. And it is such an emotional moment for so many to have realized his loss. I want to thank you once again.